We'll check with opening calls on the Nigerian markets in about a minute. But the big story today is Nigeria's inflation. As forecasts are headed north, 11.61%, printing that at the top left-hand corner of your TV screen right now. On a year-on-year basis, that's stronger than 11.24%. You heard Bismarck Rwane, the CEO at Financial Derivatives Company, told us earlier at the start of the show that that was due to the remaining high cost of logistics, the land border closure, because rice is about 8% of our food basket. Then you have the seasonality for the end of the year, and of course, the shakeup in the fixed income space, in particular, the treasury bills market. So that's inflation. Then on the right side, you find your month-on-month inflation a little bit slower in terms of movement from 1.30% in September to 1.33% in the month of October. We'll get to Constance from FMDQ in just a second, but look at the food sub index because everyone is interested in the food price. We're getting to that period of the year. Schools are going on holiday very soon and folks start shopping for the December and the New Year. So that's your food inflation printing 14.09%, higher than 13.51% in September year on year. And your food sub index 1.33% against 1.30%. That's just about that. So let's leave it at that. You're going to have more in that news as we move on. So let's talk to Constance Onye, who is a fixed income dealer at Access Bank. She's joining us live from FMDQ Exchange Place. Good morning, Constance. Hope you had a very nice weekend. Okay, great. Interesting week we had last week with the treasury bills market, with the separation of open market operations from NTB and all of that. Give us a sense of how we finished off last week, then we'll take the opening calls for today.
Okay, so following the stop rates from the auction which held last week, we saw that rates entered into single digits, which has this has really been a long time it happened. So we saw where 91 days closed at 7% levels, 182 days at 9% levels, and the one-year instrument closed at 10%. Even in the secondary market, we still saw this volatility. We also saw people scrambling for available NTBs to buy, where we saw 1 year trading as low as 9.5 levels, even after the stop rate closed at 10%. We still see that there will be some bullish sentiments in the market because people always look for where to fix their money in, but maybe bond may come to the rescue, maybe 5-year bond and all that.
Levels. How did we finish last week, and what's the opening call for today, starting the new week? Constance?
Okay, so the rates declined on the basis on like 14 basis inch, and then we see that coming into this week, we see the rates are opening about 9% levels. But with the inflation figures that have just come in now, we might see a bit of reaction in the market. So might see some mixed sentiments coming into this week. We have OMO maturity coming in on Thursday. We have bond auction holding on Wednesday, and then we expect that market will just be a little bit of mixed sentiments.
So it looks like a very busy week.
Yes, a very busy week. We have bond auction where the government will be reopening the 5-year, the 10-year, and the 30-year bond for the week.
That's the Naira bond. Again, all of this ahead of MPC by the Central Bank 25 and 26. Then we got inflation in today, trading higher. What are you folks? What's your playbook on this, Constant?
Okay, so because of all this that have been happening, and then NCBs have been selling at single digits, it seemed like maybe the government is achieving a little bit of ones, except that the inflation figures are not corresponding some sort. We'll see that maybe they might just want to hold rates at where it is for now because they are just trying to look at what's happening.
Okay, great one. Let's leave it there for today. Thanks for raising the curtain, as it were, on fixed income market for the current week. Thank you so much, Constance Onye, fixed income dealer at Access Bank.
Welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your week from FMDQ Exchange Place. As you heard there earlier, Treasury bills, Nigeria, NTB, secondary trading, via the FMDQ, single digit, went even lower to 8.10%. In fact, 8.00% on Treasuries, NTB, maturing 27 February 2020. That was on Friday. That tells you that the dip is still there. Now, lower end of single digits. But let's see how things go. Shall we leave it there for now? Let's get Temple Ashaju back in the mix now. He's live to us from the trading floor at the stock exchange. Temple, what are you hearing about this inflation reading this morning? The latest numbers from Statistics Office. Temple? Okay, I guess it's gonna get it back there. Inflation headline CPI 11.69%. That's the year-on-year reading. 1.07% month-on-month reading against 1.04%. But we told you earlier. If you go to I will talk about the headline figure. Then we'll talk about the food index. Let's look at the core sub index. If you know how to read the numbers, you see why the core sub index is very important, and that's where Besmeke Wane's comment earlier on the show, starting the show, was yes, we're likely going to see inflation still trending upward till December and perhaps into the early for 2020. But again, the core sub index is what you're looking at. Very tepid in the month under review, 8.88% year on year, 0.74% on a month-on-month basis. We're able to plug Temple Ashaju back into the conversation to wrap up the show today. Temple, this is the opening hour of the markets, but inflation is the big story. Is there anything about these numbers that you're hearing?
Yeah. Well, investors are actually not too happy about the numbers because, again, it has its implications for the market, but the implication we understand is negative, is positive actually for equities. However, it is quite negative for the debt markets, where we've seen rates at single digits lately. They do believe that there's so much liquidity in the system, and that for that reason, the fact that the CBN has also restricted some local players from the debt markets, where we used to have so much of pressure, that alone will continue to bring in investors to the equity space. And so whether this rise in inflation or not, we will continue to see so much of interest in equities, because, again, there's really nowhere you want to put your money at this point except in the equity space. So they will continue to come into the equity space. However, at this point in time, we're seeing decline, in the markets. We've seen the indices that are shedding some 0.15%. But then again, it is expected because, again, you have a lot of speculators in the market. And so this morning, they're taking profit. For those that just couldn't take the profit that they saw towards the close of business on Friday, it is time for them to take this profit. And that's why here on the floor today, we've seen some increase in the number of traders that we have in the market. Because, again, towards the close of the market, last-minute trading, which was up, which reflected investors' upbeat sentiment, made the market to actually close optics. This morning, that is what we're having, a bit of profit taking. However, we do know that investors will continue to troop into the markets to pick up some of the low prices as we have. However, the banking names are down. A couple of them are down right now. But we've seen analyst reports this Monday morning, showing that these markets has a very, very bright spot, has a very, very good upside. Again, they've changed their projections for quite a number of companies or stocks in the market. Dangote Cement, Nigerian breweries, and Seplat companies that ARM investors research, for example, has actually changed this morning, and they all look very, very bright, Bosun.
Okay, now, Temple, let's keep it just that bright, okay? We love everything to be on the bright side, so that we can get the best of everyone. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us on the program. Temple Ashaju will be crossing over on Business Incorporated at 1:30 later today on Business Incorporated. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world, I'll see you again. Have a great day.